100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and BigGTV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete, tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. And we are back on the Prentice Allsup Jennings and Ayers Funeral Prentice Allsup Coaches Corner with Laverne head coach Chris Johnson. Nice to meet you this morning, Coach. And I was just talking to you before we came in this morning, and it was a pretty exciting game last night for Laverne Wolverines.
It definitely was. Again, I want to say thank you to all of our fans and parents and student body who came out to support. We saw some very hopeful things last night, and it was encouraging for our kids. We've got to learn how to finish.
You got to learn how to finish. And we were talking and going into the game last night. It was a 38-22 Dixon County win over Laverne last night. But Laverne, y'all were actually winning at halftime last night. And, that's building your culture. That's a big deal and a first step for y'all last night.
Well, it was interesting because, we went in at halftime and, it was such a great feeling for our fans and for our kids. And our message to them at halftime was simply this. Nobody wins games at halftime. We've got to play for 4 quarters, and we try to get those guys to think about it being 0-0 coming back out, and I think it was just an unfamiliar place for our guys to be winning at the half, and so we kind of learned a lot about what else we're going to have to overcome.
And that's you take steps, and last night was absolutely a big step for you guys. And you want to highlight some of the guys that made some big plays on offense last night for you?
Yeah, first and foremost, we Drayton DeMoss came in and kind of got us settled a little bit. We botched some snaps early in the game, and Drayton DeMoss came in and kind of controlled the offense a little bit, and really proud of how he came out and played. Couldn't say more about Isaiah Welch. Played both sides of the ball, but offensively he ran the ball extremely well, and Jason Baldwin, who did some great things, making big plays on special teams and on offense. So we're really, really proud of him, and our entire offensive line just kind of stepped up and played ball. You think about last week's performance where we get shut out. Then you come back and, we put up 22 points, and, everybody had all kinds of question marks about our offense, and we came back in a week later and put up 22 points. So the progression is there. We're getting better, and I think that's what we're going to take out of this.
That's a big step from last week, from week 1 to week 2, and really, you're talking about your offense. What other things did you see from week 1 to week 2 that you really improved on this week?
Yeah, up front, our offensive line responded to the challenge. We were hard on them all week of practice, and they responded to the challenge of coming out and being aggressive. And we had some new guys in some new places. Michael Trotter, who came in at fullback, kind of created some space for our running backs, and he had a couple of carries. So that was really big for us. And I really want to commend our special teams. Coach Johnson and the special teams and what they were. We had some explosive plays, gave us great field position on kickoff return, so we had some plays there that I felt like put us in position to compete and win the game. Our guys we have to learn mentally how to come out and finish the game.
I get that, and especially with the young team, and mm-hmm. I know you were telling me earlier, your numbers are up, and you got a lot of young freshmen, sophomores, especially freshmen, that are just going to grow for you.
Yeah, we've got a great deal of young guys, and our young guys. What I'm really excited about, I think that across the state, coaches are going to be measured in their program by how that first freshman class, when you come in as a new head coach, how that class grows. And our freshmen have come in and responded to the challenge, and we're really, really gelling with them really well. And so our seniors, that are there, picking those young guys up and kind of showing them the ropes a little bit. So, I'm optimistic about everything that's happening. There were hopeful moments even last night, and we just have to realize that it's a marathon, not a sprint.
And, we talked about already on the offensive side, the defensive side. And, I think that even showed up in week 1. And, it sounds like last night you had some good defensive stuff last night, even though it ended up 38-22. But just talk right now, where do you feel like your defense is at this point?
Yeah, defensively, I felt like we had some guys really step up. Kevin Ruiz came off the end. He had some big plays there off the end, had a sack. Isaiah Welch had an interception that really put us in great field position there to go down and score or be in position to score. Jacoby Green, he's not a guy that's going to, we don't hear about him on, the stat sheet all the time, but when you go back and watch the film, this is a kid that's consistently solid every single week. He does his job. Freddie Mills, our middle linebacker, phenomenal job. Kid's just giving me everything he's got every night. Isaiah Thompson, he's another linebacker. These kids are just playing hard. I think about the back end. Micah Payne played really, really well last night, our left corner. And, we're just, we're right there.
Yeah.
We're right there, and just trying to find out how to win is our biggest message to our team.
And that's what I was going to get to next. Setting your culture. I know you can tell it's really starting to take shape. And coming into the situation you're in, what goals were you trying to accomplish? What is your culture going to be about at Laverne?
Well, we told the guys, we said if we could pass a couple of tests. One was the fight test. We know this team will fight. We've come back out and fought as hard as we could. Just the mental mistakes and the penalties kind of hurt us at times. So we definitely want to have an identity that we'll fight. And then we want to talk about finishing. I think that's our next test, is when we get up, staying up. We've got to learn how to finish those moments. We told those guys at halftime, Dixon is a great football team. They're very well coached. We knew they weren't going to come out and lay down. We knew that they weren't going to come out and quit. And so just getting our guys to come back out and finishing what they started, I think are the messages that we're trying to get accomplished year one is, learn how to fight, learn how to finish.
And, you got a good opponent starting into region play next week. You have Rockville coming to y'all's place. I know y'all are going to be really excited. We were talking earlier, I know you have 7 home games this year, which I know y'all are going to be excited about. But getting into region play, how do you feel about that? And what's your message to your guys this week?
Our message is, the season starts Friday. It's just that simple. We're going into region play. Rockville is a team. I do believe they lost last night.
They did.
So both teams are 0-2. And we get to come into this Friday with an opportunity. Somebody's got to get their first win, and somebody's going to get their third loss. So we have an opportunity to go out there and compete and try to get that first win against Rockville. That's our message.
Well, that's it sounds like things are going in the right direction, Coach. Talk about last night. How was the crowd last night, and are you excited for them to come back out next Friday?
Our crowd was electric. Our cheerleaders, our band, our student section, the parents. It was electric. And again, I think one of my disadvantages is I don't have much steeped Laverne history, so I don't know what the past was like. But what I do know is that our fans were there. They were loud, and you could tell we're trying to build something special, and we're all trying to do it together. So.
And that's it. Well, Coach, good luck to you next week. We look forward to seeing how that goes, and we know you're growing the culture, and Laverne football is going to be back here pretty soon. We appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Laverne head coach Chris Johnson. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Las Casas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more. We'll be right back.